Welcome back, guys. I know it's been a minute. I've been offline learning how to play Bard, and we've recently made it to Master, playing it in the top lane, so I think it's about time that I show you exactly why Bard top is so damn strong. And I also just want to show you why it fits so well into my playstyle. I can play it support, I can play it in the top lane. If I end up losing the top lane, I can just roam around the map creating havoc. It is perfect for the way I play. And today I'm going to try and show you the version of Bard top where instead of roaming around the map, which is what Bardonet does, you instead stay in the lane and win through farming.
And the best way for us to do that actually is to go into Professor, put on all of the stats so we can actually compare us to the enemy laners and other bards. This video, of course, is sponsored by Professor, but if you've been around long enough, you know that I use this app relentlessly, even when they don't pay me. I highly recommend that you install it for yourself. If you want map timers, alt timers, in-game stats, it is just very useful, and I couldn't play without it, and I highly recommend that you don't either. That's all I have to say. The link, it is in the description. Let's get on with this game.
And here we are, we're on the Rift. The first thing that you're looking to do when playing Bard top actually is to go to the bot lane. You need to pick up both of your chimes. They always spawn on the bottom side of the map, at least the first two do anyway. Well, the reason this is so important is because it gives you experience, and you can use this experience in the top lane to get level 2 first. And this is a big deal because when it comes to top laners, there's not many points in which you can make a move to try take control of the lane. You either got level 2 power spike or level 6. Besides getting a jungle gank, there's really not many opportunities. But in this case, Bard can literally always get it first because he's always a minion ahead of his opponent. And you're about to watch me do just that. I get level 2 first without even pushing the wave. So I've already got an advantage over my opponent without even disrupting the wave state. What I care about is surviving. I don't want to push the lane because I become a target quite easily as Bard top. What I want to do is allow him to push the wave in so I can easily farm and then drop my little Skittle health packs under my tower so I can infinitely sustain and outpace Mordekaiser. When you're playing this, I want you to have the mindset that Bard scales harder than any top laner in existence. If you have that mindset, it's very much like Kayle, except this champion is actually useful. So what I'm doing right now is placing my health Skittles on the floor prior to picking up the chimes. The chimes, they give your mana. That's how you have an infinite source of sustain. And I've also put 2 points into my W very early on in the laning phase. I don't want to be baited into trying to kill my opponent. 2 points into the W allows you to heal 100 per Skittle, which means it's almost as good as a health pot. You can place 3 of these on the floor, which is 300 health. There should be no way that you get killed. Okay, now that you understand the basics behind the survivability, I'm going to skip ahead and we are going to talk about the point in which Bard takes control into most matchups. In this matchup, the point is once he gets 15 chimes. So you have to understand Bard is scaling through the chimes. It's not only giving you infinite mana, which is infinite healing, it's also giving you damage. So at 15, your auto attacks become an AoE cone that can slow the enemy. So you can start poking down the enemy while farming minions. So I had a small window here where I could portal through and look to pick up my chimes and get my mana back, but it turns out we bumped into the Gwen who was trying to take the objective. I figured I could potentially steal it or lower him enough to force him off of it, but this baits my jungler in, and unfortunately he ends up handing a kill over to the Mordekaiser. It doesn't really matter. I got what I wanted, which was the chimes. So we go straight back to the lane. Keep an eye on my gold, by the way. We have 2.5 thousand gold. He has not managed to push us out. I'm now skipping ahead. We have 3,000 gold. We can completely buy our first item outright without having to buy any components. We head back to the base, and the first item I go for every single time is, of course, the Dead Man's. I don't really care if I'm into a AP matchup. It is irrelevant to me. We're going to pick up the dead mans and teleport back to lane. By the way, I don't always run teleport. I usually run ignite. There's no point for the teleport. Bard is already so quick and has that infinite source of sustain. We never need to go back to base anyway. The only reason I took it in this game is because there wasn't much kill potential on the Mordekaiser. Mord ended up going back to base, which gave me an opportunity to either push the lane or look for roams. I choose to go for the roam. Yes, I could keep matching the clock, but at the end of the day, I'm already massive. I have so much experience. I can push my lead right now, so I'm gonna get the chimes and then look to make something happen on this map. We do get a little bit unlucky. We missed out on the kill on the mid lane, and then the enemy jungler just managed to take the Infernal Drake before we arrive. But just look at how much movement speed Bard has once he picks up those chimes. I can just walk into this bot lane and force it. I'm also level 10. People don't realize how powerful Bard is, even when he is behind in levels. Now imagine he has a level advantage. It is disgusting. Anyway, things were going perfectly, almost a flawless game so far, until I made one critical error. I thought it would be a good idea to try and get at least one plating before the timer went to 14, and of course, it was a complete bait. This is why you need to stay under your tower with your protective skittles. Once you leave the danger zone, Bard is in trouble, and Mordekaiser took full advantage of my greed. We're now sitting here in silence, just praying that the Vi doesn't int any more kills over to the Mordekaiser. 2 minutes later, our team is having a fight in the middle of the map, and I start roaming. I manage to spot the Mordekaiser. He's trying to solo the Rift Herald. I don't necessarily want him to have that, so my goal was to pull him off of it. In hindsight, this is a big error. I should have learned from the fact that when I went for the tower, he just ulted me and I died. And you're gonna see very soon as well why going for this Rift Herald, like stopping it, is just a waste of time. Anyway, the exact same thing happened. By the time the Mord ult runs out, Gwen is there to kill me. I end up dying once again. This is our second death. I know the point of this video is to show you how strong Bard top is. This isn't where he shines, not necessarily. There are some matchups that you can't kill, and your goal is just to survive. And if you can get even remotely close to even in farm, you're miles ahead. Because once those team fights start, a Bard that has all these levels from solo laning is an absolute nightmare to deal with. For the second item, usually I go for the Leandries, but in this game, I'm going to be going for the static Shiv. I tend to do this when my opponents have some kind of split pusher or they're trying to 1-3-1s, or if I want to proc my slow onto a very quick or dangerous target such as Gwen or Sivir, I can use the AoE from the static Shiv to proc that slow. I was attempting to save our ADC, but it was a bit too slow. He ends up getting picked off, and now my teleport advantage has been wasted. Ideally, we wanted to stay in the top lane, push it out, and then teleport into a team fight. But in situations like that, sometimes when you activate your teleport, the enemy will flinch, and that might be enough time for your ADC to deal that little bit extra damage and potentially win. Not in this case. Aurelia ends up damaging our tower to half HP. For the next minute, me and the Aurelia run around in circles and end up damaging each other quite heavily, and then a team fight breaks out in the middle of the map, but unfortunately I'm too low HP now, so I have to reset, so there's nothing to do but watch. Unfortunately, the Lucian once again is dead, and now this opens an opportunity for the enemy team. I had mentioned earlier how going for that Rift Herald was just a waste of time. Now you're going to see exactly why that's the case. So the enemy team, they are in a position now where they have a 4v5 and a Rift Herald. They're looking to push the mid lane, but Bard has the unique ability to just completely deny that with his ultimate. You just chuck it on the tower, it does absolutely no damage. In this case, the enemy team, they were looking to snowball their lead. They wanted to get that bonus gold and push it to the next one and next one. We denied that. And instead of them getting gold, we've completely turned it around. And now our team is the one pushing to get a lead. This is just something completely unique to Bard. So by 22 minutes, our team has a firm grip on the lead in this match, and I've almost got enough gold to pick up the static shiv. As I'm about to recall to go and spend my gold, a team fight breaks out in the middle of the map. This is usually where the team fight would end, but we're playing Bard, so it continues. Our team then resets and locks up our third Drake when Silas just randomly teleports to the bot lane to start a fight with the Mordekaiser. I decide my best option is probably to go to the top lane, chasing potential kills down there when I don't know how many they have versus defending a tier 2 tower. It seems like the clearer choice for me is to go to the top lane. Even though it didn't really work out, I don't hate my choice. That teleport was not very good. Unfortunately, he is able to get to tier 2, but take a look at his level. He is only level 12 and we are 15. I doubt he was expecting this, but instead of running away, I decided to come back and try do the 1v1. We've arrived at the 4th Drake for the Mountain Soul. The enemy team has no choice but to contest this. Immediately, the Sivir is picked off and we enter a very long, drawn-out fight that I'm just going to allow to play. As I was pointing out in the game chat, this is probably the first time you've ever witnessed a Bard reaching level 18 first in a game. I mean, I can't think of a time I've ever seen that before. And we've now found ourselves in the final team fight. Irelia was split pushing and our team collapsed on her. While she was dying, the enemy team takes this opportunity to path towards this Baron. The problem for them is we still have a ward on that Baron and they realize that as they show up. And now I can almost guarantee they are sitting in the brush trying to cheese us. And that, my friends, is how this game ended. I cut them off and they're forced into a corner fighting our team. Bard is perfectly capable of split pushing. I know this wasn't the hella exciting pub stomp version of this, but I wanted to show you a pretty stock standard game so you can truly see its power. Tomorrow I'm going to be putting out a video where I roam around the map instead. So instead of farming, we are roaming and hunting kills and plays. A lot more action. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's.
Y'all ain't on this level, bitches, Tilterella. Y'all can never beat them like an acapella. If you wanna